Hi, folks. This is Sean Kane, and
Luna Stark.
we're Phoenix Rising Productions. This is an interview is about our last production,
Yeah.
The Last Patriot. Okay, Luna. So here we are on the other side of principal shooting.
Yeah.
And so, what do you think? What is your takeaway from the experience so far?
I'd say it's probably been very interesting. It's probably one of our most interesting sets so far because we had so many actors from out of state with different types of backgrounds, and it was definitely interesting and chaotic but fun at the same time. So. Oh
yeah, it was a lot. Okay, well let's go through the first weekend. Okay, we had Vinny and Tony and TC up here, Selena.
Yeah.
What did you like about that? What didn't you like about it?
So first weekend, it was really chaotic because, we were picking up 4 people on the same day. So we picked up TC and Tony first. Thankfully, they were on the same flight, so it was super easy to get them. Yep. But then we had to hang out in Seattle and wait for Vincent and Selena to get in. And so that was a pretty fun car ride. It was a pretty fun first meeting, and being able to meet everybody there and do the whole car ride together was fun. We started 9 a.m. on Saturday, so that was, our usual start time. And it's always interesting working with new actors because you never quite know, their acting style or their preparation style. A joke that keeps going around, is probably going to be going around for a long time, is Vinny ironing his shirts.
We love you, Vinny.
We do. And, everyone was able to keep up with us, though, as far as the acting speed. Everyone was super excited to be here. And so we ran out of lighting on the first day. So had to switch things up, always on our toes like we usually are.
Yeah.
And then second day was much easier. Got through all of those scenes pretty quickly and everything.
Yeah. And that was, 11, 12 scenes, right?
Yeah. So these were longer days for us, unfortunately, because it was a pretty big script.
Well, and a lot more people.
Yeah, a lot more people.
A lot of times it's just me and you running around.
Exactly. A lot of times it's just us. And we had limited time with the people that we had up here. So, Selena, we only had for one day. So we had to shoot all of her scenes out on the first day. And then we had Vinny, Tony, and TC for the entire weekend. And that did help things. That helped us be able to spread things more evenly. And so we still hit, our deadlines, and we got everything that we needed. Then we had to take everybody back on Monday. And then.
So what did you think of Vincent's acting style?
I think he's a great actor. He really brought his A game.
Yeah, he did.
And same with all of them, actually. Selena, she was able to make that character come alive, and make it her own, and really made Mother human. Because the way we initially wrote the Mother person was to be very robotic, very non-emotional, and not really have any character. And then we decided to cast Selena in that role. Because
originally it was just going to be a voice.
Exactly, it was just going to be a voice. There wasn't going to be, she was never going to make an appearance. And that's why we made her very robotic, very neutral, non-emotional. But we decided to give her to Selena. Selena made her come alive, and was able, and she was ready. Everybody knew their lines. Everybody was ready. Yeah. We didn't have to spend.
Because if we did, we would never have got those scenes done.
Exactly.
Yeah, never would have got them done.
So that's always amazing. But yeah, Vinny, he leading man, definitely leading man.
Oh yeah.
And I am so happy that we brought him up here for that Riley character, because I don't know if anybody else could have done it. He was able to really evoke the emotions that he needed to evoke.
He really did, didn't he?
For that character, because that character had a lot of different emotions that he's going through.
There's a lot going on, getting ready for a vacation. It's just a few months away, and he's thinking about a boat and
thinking about retiring, and then he has this thorn in his side of a mission that he's having to investigate and complete, and it's really supposed to be a mission that turns into nothing, but in all actuality, it's
turned into something.
Yeah. And Tony, we had Tony for 2 weekends, and got bring him.
Well, what do you
back
think of
up.
Tony?
Oh man, he's great actor.
Great guy too.
He was able to keep up with us.
Yeah. Nothing was too fast for Tony Taylor.
Yeah, no, he wanted to go faster.
he was right there with us every step of the way.
Both him and Selena wanted to go faster. But he was able to play his character very, very perfectly.
And very different. From that week to the next week was very different for Tony. It's a buddy comedy when he's with Vinny, and he's in the shit when he's with the militia.
Exactly. So he had to also evoke different emotions and kind of basically he was going undercover, so he had to portray a character that's one way, and then what this character goes through undercover. So you can't be that same person in those two different scenes, two different styles. And then TC came up and played Skippy.
Phenomenally.
Yeah. We almost had to cut the Skippy role or have someone else play the Skippy role. That was one of our concerns. But TC, I'm glad we ended up with TC for that role. He really brought that character to life and was able to
make it kind of funny, make it a little more suspenseful. I mean, he did a great job.
He really did, and honestly, there's a lot of things that we wouldn't be able to do without TC, because TC, in Roman Papers brought up all of his guns, or the majority of his guns, and we needed that for this movie. If we didn't have that for this movie, I feel like this movie would have been limited. It would have been limited. It wouldn't have been able to show the militia properly.
That's right.
And then that was that first weekend.
Yeah.
So
and a lot of fun scenes.
Oh yeah. Almost all day we were laughing in between scenes. Freaking the energy was positive with everything going on that first weekend. The energy was still positive. Everybody was having a good time.
Yep.
And it was just a lot of fun.
It was really like making a movie with your friends.
Exactly. Like Vinny kept saying, we're making a movie.
I know.
And it was just so awesome, and his energy is just so great. Yeah. You can't help but to smile when you're around the guy.
And like the guy. He's so likable.
Yeah, he is.
And really, he played the Riley character. I mean, Riley it's a real up and down, character. And,
it is.
And he does just an amazing job.
He does, and then, I don't think anybody has put it more perfectly, but when you are an actor or an actress and you truly love the art, you're basically an adult getting to play pretend, is I believe. James, was that wording right?
Yeah.
Yes, we're adults getting to play pretend, and we get paid for it.
Yep.
Exactly. And anybody who's a true actor feels that way, and I feel like, everybody we brought up, it's kind of, is on that bar. Everyone was having a great time.
And I think you can really see that in the performances that everybody gave.
Yeah.
I think there's a real level of they're very connected, and yet I think everybody knew how big this movie is.
Yeah.
The scope of it. I always think if you're laughing and joking in between sets and having a good time, that bleeds through. You're having a good time. It's easier for you to get into those more serious emotions. Like I said, it was really like making that first weekend was very family-like. Very good.
It really was. And I'm super excited to be bringing Vincent back, to bring Tony back, because they've both told us how much they loved it up here and how much they want to come back. And TC's always there and everything. So it'll be.
So let's talk about the militia side of this.
Which is
the dark side
weekend.
of the moon. Yeah, the dark side of the moon.
I didn't even realize that's literally how this weekend shooting went. We shot the fun stuff the first weekend, and then the very serious stuff the second weekend.
Yeah.
So second weekend we have Bishop Stevens coming up.
Yep.
We had Adrian Miller up here.
Yep.
And Tony came back to reprise his role. And then,
we have Randy Taylor and Mindy East and yourself and James and Aaron Doran.
So we're working with a lot of people in these scenes because it's a militia family type of scene. So literally almost everybody is in shot of the camera and in every scene.
Yeah. Which makes it harder to film.
It does.
More time it takes because everybody gets, you got to do the coverage. Even though we shoot fast, we still make sure we get our wides, our mids, our close-ups, the cut-ins, because you have to have those. No matter how fast you go, you got to have those.
Exactly. So
here we are. Yeah. What do you think of Bishop Stevens?
Oh, he is a phenomenal actor. Like, he has a lot of different acting skills.
Oh, yeah.
And he, too, can evoke a wide variety of emotion. Because, I didn't know too much about Bishop Stevens before he came up here. Like, I was like, okay, well, I don't know. He's a pretty big star, very up and coming. And so I didn't know what he was going to think of our set, and you never really know when bringing in new talent.
That's right.
But he fit in right along, he was very excited to be here. He loved working on our sets. Yeah, very giving.
Very giving,
very helpful.
Oh, yeah.
Super helpful, especially with, the lighting to make sure, nobody was too, blown out or, for his scenes that it wasn't too dark.
Well, when you get somebody like a Bishop Stevens, who has so much so much acting experience, that there is a wealth of knowledge.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of times they don't want to share it with you because, they're tired or, whatever it is. But Bishop was not that way.
No,
he really wanted to get in here with us. He really wanted to, really jumped in 100%.
He did. He really did. And the second day, he wasn't in too many, he was only in 2 scenes the second day. So, we were thinking about, giving him his space, time to rest, things like that. And we texted him like, hey, you only have 2 scenes. You're not, we're not quite ready to do those scenes yet. They're a little bit later in the day. Do you want to stay at the hotel or do you want to come be on set with us? Because everyone's different. Some people want to rest. Some people, they don't want to rest. And he was one of the ones.
It was a 5-hour flight, and a 12-hour day after that.
Yeah.
So it was long. It was hard. And what does he say?
He's like, "Come pick me up. Come get me. Come pick me up." And I was like, I kind of had a feeling. Based on the first day, I kind of had a feeling, and and so we immediately went and got him and brought him back. And so he helped us during the scenes he wasn't in. He was practicing his lines in the back, make sure. And when he was practicing his lines, he wasn't practicing to remember the lines. He was practicing the emotion to, how would this character say this? He really was invested in making sure that he portrayed the character a certain way.
Yes.
And I was very impressed with him. Here I am cooking, lunch in the kitchen, and there he is practicing his lines, and he's testing the way he says it, how fast he says it, how slow he says it, what tone he says it in, and all of this to make sure he says it right, and make sure that he gives the character as much life as he can. And I thought that was really, really cool. And we're shooting in a house. For one, we're shooting in my house, so my animals are everywhere, and I always feel bad for that because, some people love animals, some people don't. He absolutely loved all of my animals. I think Adrian did as well. Adrian loved all of the animals. Tony loved the animals.
Since we talked about Adrian, let's. What did you think of Adrian? What do you think of her performance?
Oh my God, amazing leading actress. The role of Sammy was a very difficult role because, she's married to your character, Rex, who is the leader of the militia, the commander. And, but she herself has, some toughness to her.
Yeah.
She's not just a pushover. She's also not like a lovey-dovey,
no.
Oh my God, my husband's home. Oh my God, yeah. She's a very serious character with
very
a very
in-your-face type of a character.
Yeah, and a very specific attitude,
Yeah.
She is very much a character where, when we wrote that character, I already knew that this was going to be a hard character to play. Because I was like, she's very much so in your face, don't get in my way, able to stand up for herself, won't take shit from nobody.
That's right.
And she'll kill you, too, if you cross her.
She will put you in a ditch, Sammy.
But she's also very caring for those who are like within the group.
Yeah.
You know?
And the character of Sammy is very controlling.
Yeah, very, very controlling.
You know?
You know, and you know, she stands up to Rex.
Yeah.
You know? But
all the time.
And then, you know, the love scene between you two is brutal. It's absolutely brutal, but her character's into it. And so I guess my question to you is, how was filming that? How was playing that scene? Because that was a very, very tough scene.
Well, Rex is a very different character than myself.
Yes.
And very different than any other person that I've played.
Yeah.
He is. How would you say that? He's a little vicious, a little tough, but he also finds himself in a situation where things are outside of his control.
Yeah.
And you know, with Mr. Jones, played by Randy Taylor, brilliantly. It was a hard character. You know, it was definitely the farthest out of my comfort zone. I mean, you've seen me as a clown, killer, right, and dancing in the woods. I mean, I have played some fun characters, but this guy was not fun.
No,
he you know, the Rex was a very controlling, systematically maniacal type of a person.
Yeah, and I feel like you portrayed that properly as well. But
thank you.
What was also really nice is like being able to get into character and then get out of character.
Yeah.
Because that can be really hard for some actors, being able to, you know, be that character in the scene, but not be that character.
And since we're talking about it, let's talk about your character. You played my daughter in this.
Yes.
And you know, her boyfriend is Hunter, who is kind of the loose cannon in the storyline.
Yeah.
You know, what did you think of that? What did you think of playing? I can't think of her name.
Veronica.
I don't know why.
I played too many characters. That's why.
What do you think of playing Veronica?
I'd say playing Veronica was probably one of my hardest characters, just because, you know, for one, she's a daddy's girl, and I have to say that I don't have close connections with my biological dad. I don't have close connections with my stepfather. So to try and play a daddy's girl was
But you have close connections with me.
Well, yeah, but you're also my best friend.
That's true.
So a little bit different, but you know, but I did actually rely on that best friend relationship to try and help me, you know, be a daddy's girl. And she's also, you know, I felt like her character was somebody who was always given, you know, everything she always wanted. Never really told no. She's very standoffish with her stepmom, because it is her stepmom, it's not her real mom, and we don't even go into who her real mom is. So
that's very interesting.
So it's
Part
you know
two. Okay.
yeah. and so I'm hoping I did the character justice. You know, if anybody who knows me knows I love the color black, knows that I love my hair black. I have actually highlights in my hair.
Yes, you do.
Which I partially did for me personally, but I also did to give this character a different hairstyle. You know, because, you know, just a lot of my stuff that I have is black, and so I had to rely on wearing what I consider normal clothes, so I could really help bring her to life and help erase any of myself from coming through in that character, because none of my real self is in that character at all.
Yeah. So let's talk about our core unit. Okay.
Yeah.
Our family.
Oh yeah.
And okay. Randy Taylor comes in and plays Mr. Jones. What do you think of Randy Taylor?
He's amazing as always. Always amazing. You know, he researches his character as soon as we give him the script. He starts practicing his lines, and he really makes sure to bring that character to life. Like, you know, we brought Randy in back in I Kill Demons. Yeah. He did an amazing job there.
Yes,
completely different character from Mr. Jones. Then he played a pope in Roman Papers.
Yep.
He was a manager in the comic strip.
Yep. And he did the comic strip brilliantly.
Oh yeah.
He had brilliant performance. Can't wait for you guys to see that. Randy is brilliant in that movie.
He is. He is a great actor, because in every situation, every character he plays, you believe that he is actually that person.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's no doubt about it. You're
and very different characters.
Yeah, very, 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 very different characters.
Very different.
And you can really see that over the films, you know, that he's able to portray these characters
a good actor,
differently.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
And these are older senior, you know, gentlemen, and, you know, he has such depth.
He does. He really, really does.
Yep. I don't think we've even scratched the surface of Randy Taylor yet.
Oh, no, I don't think we have either.
Let's talk about Aaron Dorn.
Oh, man. He keeps stepping up to the plate.
Doesn't he? Every role.
Every role, he keeps stepping up to the plate. He keeps showing us, you know, how much he wants to be here. And he really started showing that, I'd say, because our first film with him was Ghosties.
Yep.
And then he was in I Kill Demons.
He did a great job in Ghosties. If you can check it out, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Ghosties will be out.
We asked a lot of him.
We really have. And
three characters in Ghosties.
And he does them all brilliantly. And so if you just want to see a young actor who is really finding his way, Aaron Dorn does an amazing job in Ghosties.
He does.
He plays a comic. He is not a comic professionally, but in the movie, the comic strip, you would think it was professional comic. Great job.
Yeah.
Roman Papers, he plays a professor, and he does an amazing job in that. We cut off his fingers.
Yeah.
And now we are in this film, Last Patriot, and he's playing Sarge.
A cop. A dirty cop.
A dirty cop who has a gun fetish.
Mm-hmm. And he does it amazingly. And what helps is he has a lot of gun knowledge as well. So he's able to bring some of, you know, his props and stuff that he had onto set and everything. And that was amazing. And it was just, like I said, we could not have made this film without him.
No.
He was a producer on this film.
Yes, he was.
And like I said, if he wasn't here, we would not have been able to make this film, at least at this point in time. We would have had to postpone it. So he's, like I said, he just keeps stepping up to the plate, not only as an actor, but also as a producer, as a part of this team.
Yeah, as a part of the team.
Really?
Yep, really a part of the team. And I haven't found anything that we couldn't put Aaron in and have him not be successful. He's really, you know, for a guy who, you know, like me, I'm a trained actor. You know, people expect me to do a good job. Aaron is not a trained actor. No. You know, but he just brings so much more to, you know, so much to the table.
He does, and every time, you know, because we've always, you know, asked, hey, can you help us with this or something, or is it okay if we do this? You know, we never demand anything of anyone on set. No. We always ask, and he is always willing to say, yeah, that I'm fine with that. I'm okay with that.
Yep.
You know, so that shows a lot of his character that he's, you know, especially when using his car.
Yep.
Like, I always feel bad for asking to use his baby.
Yeah, because he drives a Hellcat.
Yeah.
And it is a gorgeous car. And you'll see Selena's bashing fucking TC's head against it.
Oh, God, I know.
Like 20 times.
And him standing in the background just sweating both.
I know. And so, but like... and
but it makes the scene, makes that scene too.
It does, it helps make that scene. And it just, you know, it, like I said, without him...
Okay, let's talk about Mindy. Mindy Easton.
Oh, man. So much sass. So much
she brings fire at every point.
She does. Amazing, amazing actress. And she had a super, super long weekend, too. You know, she had just come up from Oregon.
Oh, yeah. And she's a professional wrestler.
Yeah.
I believe she's a 15-time Pacific Northwest champ. Mm-hmm. And I think she was out defending her belt this weekend in Portland, Oregon. And drives 6-8 hours to get here. And you would, I mean, when you watch her performance, you would have thought she woke up like everybody else and, you know, had breakfast and went right into work.
Yeah,
and she just did a phenomenal job. And every time in the Roman Papers, she plays a Vatican hip person who...
Oh my God, yes. Yes.
Oh, Mindy.
Oh, man.
You know, she started with us in I Kill Demons. And Mindy Easton's performances, the roles have gotten bigger. She has gotten so good. I mean, working with her is, man, you know.
And technically it was a combo. Because it was I Kill Demons and...
oh, that's right. It was.
Don't
ask me.
Blood on Steel.
Oh, that's right. It was Blood on Steel. Oh, my God.
Yeah, so it was a combo. And she did great there. Because, she had told me, because she was only here for one day as well.
Yeah.
And she told me, she had just driven up 5 hours from Portland to her home, was able to stay at her house for all of about 30 minutes, I think she said, and then had to drive 3 hours
back
up here. Acted with us from 9 a.m. till about 3 p.m.
Yeah.
And then, because she had to catch a ferry reservation and go do a show that night.
Yeah. She is Superwoman, man.
She
really is.
She is. And she played her character beautifully.
So impressed with her.
Yeah.
All the time, I'm so impressed with her.
She can really act. And I'm eager to find out what else she can do. And, putting her
and not like a professional wrestler, okay? I mean, she is so funny.
She is.
In these scenes, she is so funny.
She brings, like you said, she brings a lot of fire to her characters and brings a lot of energy, because you never know when you're going to get an actress who is dull.
That's right.
And who is just really reading lines and off of the paper.
Pretty much.
But she's not. That.
Yeah, she is not that person.
She brings a lot of fire.
She is on fire every step of the way, man. I enjoy her. Okay, let's talk about your husband, James. Playing Hunter.
Oh, God.
The psycho one who gets us all killed at the end.
Is this even fair?
Yes.
I am such a hard critic on him. So.
And you'll get to see here in just a minute, folks. So, Luna, what do you think of James' performance?
I think he did good.
He did great. Okay, first off, he did great.
Okay, so, that's what I said. Is this even fair? Because I'm hypercritical of not only him, but also myself. And so,
I can catch on fire, really... she wouldn't say a word. But if James, lights a cigarette, my God!
Talking about husband-wife combo here. So, you know. But, James has just continued to improve. With this character... he was able to hit his mark multiple times. Because the truth is, in reality, in James's own words, James is a giggly little bitch.
You hear it right now.
It's very true. So, but this
and he giggles a few times throughout in the scene.
He does.
He did.
But, for the Hunter character, that really, giggling wasn't in that character's forte at all.
No, it's probably the most serious role James has ever played.
It really is. And because of that, it was one of James's hardest roles to ever play. Because, even in I Kill Demons, that was a little bit of a serious role, but it was also a maniacal, serious role. So that, James was able to do, amazingly and everything. But, with this one, it was really hard. I felt like it was really hard for him to be in that, angry mode all the time.
Yeah. Because he's not an angry guy. He's a big guy, but he's a good guy. And... I thought James did a great job. We're down in the fuck cellar, and James
It's not a fuck cellar!
You're the only one who calls it.
You're the only one who calls it that!
And everybody at home now.
I know, you're just gonna make it's just gonna stick now. I just need to get a whiteboard and write fuck cellar on here.
Okay, so we're down in the fuck cellar.
Oh, God.
And James is, and Mr. Jones comes in. I mean, it's, that's a fiery scene, man. Mm-hmm. And James does a great job. I mean, it's a lot of motion for James. In the car with the great Bishop Stevens, he has a great exchange.
Oh, man.
Wasn't it?
Beautiful.
One of the best scenes in the whole movie.
Yeah, I was going to say, I felt like, in that scene, that was one of the really good scenes where James was able to evoke Hunter.
Hit my emotion mark.
Yeah, he actually hit his emotion mark and was able to really nail that down. And Bishop, oh my God, just such a
Bishop is a terrifying human being.
He is
if he grabs you, you would shit your pants, and I mean in real life.
Yeah.
And him and James locked horns, man. And I'm gonna tell you something. Even the birds stopped chirping to watch that.
Yeah.
It was shit. It was awesome. It was a great scene. And Bishop brings fire with anything he does. And,
does.
Our giggly bitch James, really. Oh, man. It was palpable. You could feel it.
You could, oh my gosh. It was amazing. And,
for a big man to be able to play the way James does most big men you can't get any emotion out of them. They're pretty stiff on set. If you watch Kevin Nash in films, Kevin is pretty much just the Kevin Nash character from pro wrestling. He doesn't have much else to give. James is just a little bit smaller than Kevin, but a huge range of emotion. Huge range.
Yeah.
I mean, from the comic strip.
We talk too much.
I know. Sorry, folks.
Long interview.
Okay. So we talked about everybody.
Yeah.
So what do you think of The Last Patriot?
I think it's going to be a very, very controversial film, but also a relatively successful film. Because the thing is, and when we went out to dinner on Sunday with Bishop, Adrian, and Tony was... Sorry, Tony. You got pizza. But when we went out to dinner and we were talking and everything, I'd say Bishop probably described the situation very accurately. It is a very controversial film.
Yes, it is.
It's so controversial that we may even get very rude and mean and maybe even threatening messages because we made it. But it's also going to be a very historical film because we're not doing it in a documentary. We're not sugarcoating it. We're doing something that no one else has done. Because they're starting to make documentaries about January 6th. But they sugarcoat it. They don't want to necessarily portray it in a bad light. And we're just portraying it from a different perspective of what really happened. We're not taking a side. We're being very neutral.
And we're trying really hard not to. I mean, it's designed for us not to take. We follow a group of people through the election, or it starts out right after the election and going into January 6th. It's pretty much 2 weeks, 10 days, I think it is.
Yeah, because it starts on December 27th.
Yep, right after Christmas.
So right after Christmas, and ends on January 7th, the day after.
Yeah.
And so it's
10 days.
Yeah.
Yep, and it's a lot. I don't want to give away too much, but like I said, we don't pick sides. No. We'll let you pick sides, okay? I believe the best stories on historical matters just gives you the facts.
Yeah.
And let you come up with your own decision and make up your own mind about what happened that day and everything. Now, there's going to be literally 100 movies right behind us who are going to give you all different sides of this story.
Yeah.
And I just thought the first one shouldn't. And I think we talked about it. I think James and I think we all sat down and talked about how how we needed to be neutral. How we just needed to tell the story. And let that speak for itself.
Well, and I feel like that's why everyone liked the script so much.
Yeah.
I feel like that's why, we have several distribution companies that are interested in it, is because it is neutral. It's not, it's not taking the political side.
Not at all.
Or, any other side.
And as a matter of fact, we really don't even touch on the political side throughout the whole story.
Not at all.
We really do leave it up to you. We really just try to give you the facts.
Exactly.
And take the story of this militia group from where they were, and they're not neo-Nazis, they're not these type of guys. These are kind of the average, kind of more milquetoast type of militia who gets caught up in a situation, and because of that, things happen.
Yep.
And I like I said, we can't give away too much, but that's kind of what this is based on. But these guys, aren't good guys either. They are. There's things going on. So, like I said, we try really hard not to pick a side. We leave it up to you to talk about, and we'll probably make both sides mad at us because we didn't pick a side, because we didn't, do it the way everyone else is going to. We just really believed. Us as Phoenix Rising Productions believe that instead of being more controversial by picking a side and saying who was right and wrong, we're going to leave that up to the audience. We'll leave that up to you when you watch it. You decide what was right and you decide what was wrong. The Last Patriot is kind of a metaphor. I mean, what does that mean to you when you hear The Last Patriot? What came through to you? What do you think The Last Patriot is?
I'm like the worst person to ask.
I know.
Really, there's several interpretations that you can take from that. You know, one of them that we've discussed is, you know, if you're watching this, you could feel like this family is the last patriot. This family is the last patriotic people who are willing to stand up against the government for for Americans. Or you can view it as, you know, the last patriot is, you know, those who put their lives at risk, those who go undercover to investigate. You know, the last patriot could be, you know, the FBI. The FBI agent, you know, investigating, trying to protect the country, trying to protect people, and from things like this happening, and from, you know, deaths occurring, and things like that. You know,
my character Rex could be the last patriot.
Exactly, any of the characters. That's right. Could be
Bishop
the last
Stevens
patriot.
could be the last patriot because of what he does at the end of the movie. So, you know, like I said, I enjoy movies that makes me think about them. The best movies, after I watch them, I'm thinking about it for the next 2 or 3 days. Well, what did that mean? You know, where, you know, how did that all play out? You know, and you know, this is so controversial.
Oh yeah.
You know,
so.
You know, we'll probably get death threats.
Yeah.
We'll probably have people, you know, on both sides yelling and screaming at us.
Yep.
And we knew that going into this, and everybody in this cast
knew that.
Yeah, came to that realization as well.
And knew that before they accepted, you know,
accepted the role
to do that. Because, like, for example, Bishop Stevens is a perfect example. He shared a lot of his personal experience with this. You know, when we announced that he was going to be playing, you know, on the militia side in this movie, you know, for every like and positive comment, there was 2 or 3 direct comments that were like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
You know, that went to his DM, you know, criticizing him, all sorts of just negative energy and negative things, but he still came up here.
Yep.
You know, he still wanted to go forward with the role. He liked the role. He believed in the role. And he decided that he was still going to go and film it. Because, you know, there's a lot of people who that would happen to, where they're getting, you know, threats or things like this, and they would just back away.
Oh, you bet.
They would just
and matter of fact, he knows a lot of people who have backed away from filming a movie like this because of the controversialness of what's going to come out of this. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm a storyteller. I want to tell a great story. And to me, a great story is always wrapped in history. And when we wrote this, we talked about that.
Yeah.
You know, what makes a great story? How do we not, point fingers at anyone? You know, and yet somehow, how can we bring people together over this? And that's really what we've tried to do, is maybe in a film way, bring people closer. We don't want a civil war here. We don't want people to be shooting at each other. We don't want it to go to the next level. And maybe a film like this can make a few people stop and realize where they're standing and what they're talking about. And I know some of you are going to think it's one way or the other, and it's not. I don't mean it that way. I mean, maybe all of us should take a look at where we're standing and what we're looking at. And maybe we need to realize that the guy that we're yelling at, he's American too.
Well, yeah, there's you know, we won't delve too much into this, but there's a lot of hate culture going around in the world today, you know. And what we really need to realize is, you know, one of the reasons why America is the way it is, and has become the way it has become, is because everyone from everywhere came here because they were tired of shit going on in their own country. You know, we have immigrants from Europe, we have immigrants from everywhere, of all cultures. Ireland. Yeah.
Mexico.
Technically, yes. Mexico and Europe, actually.
Oh, okay.
Remember? And Native
Ireland.
American. And Native American. You know, I'm a mix of many cultures.
I'm Irish.
Yeah, you're simple. I'm the complicated one. So it's like, we're, like Shawn just said, you know, we're all Americans.
That's right.
And I think a lot of people have forgotten that. and have, started turning on each other, and there's just a lot of hate, going on.
And you know what? We're screaming at each other right now.
Yeah.
And we used to be able to talk to each other.
Yeah.
And maybe we can dial this down a little bit. Mm-hmm. Maybe through a movie like this, like I said, you start to realize where you're standing at, what everybody's standing for, and maybe we can turn it down a little bit and get back to being American and start trying to do American stuff.
Yeah. Well, and I think that this film is very relatable. I think, Adrian said it at dinner, everyone's going to be able to relate to this movie in one way or the other.
So someone you know, someone that you want to know, is in this film. These characters are written a certain way. Mm-hmm. You will identify with these people. Good or bad.
Yeah.
You will identify with them. Because these are your co-workers. These are your brothers. These are your Uncle Bob.
Well, yeah, and not only that, you're going to have people rooting for the FBI and those characters, and you're going to have people cursing them out. But on the flip side, you're just going to have people rooting for the militia and have people cursing the militia. And both sides have loss,
Yep. And that's why we made this story. That's why we're very excited and honored to be the first movie about December 6th out.
January 6th.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm saying December 6th. I got Christmas on my mind.
I know. It's so...
Sorry.
And I have to say, that was the only thing I did not like about this film, is it was freezing cold. Freezing cold. We're in, November, and it is freezing cold.
It is.
And even everybody was cold. Poor
everybody
Bishop.
was cold.
Oh, man. Because we had outdoor scenes.
Yeah.
We had scenes that we had to do outside.
Yep.
But, you got to do what you got to do.
That's right. So, we want to say in closing.
I love what we do. It can be stressful. It can be fun. We're almost always exhausted after these busy weekends, but we just get back up and do it again. And as James said, for our beautiful slogan, we rise together. We can't do this by ourselves. So we need everybody's help. We need the actors, the producers, the investors. We need you as an audience, because without you guys, there's
I'm just
nothing.
doing shadow puppets.
Yeah, exactly. So, and we're just grateful for all the people we get. I'm especially grateful for all the people that we get to meet and everything, and the experiences we're having.
And these guys all came in, and they all really did an amazing job. My takeaway from this is very simple. We wrote a great story. We cast the best people we could. Mm-hmm. They were phenomenal in this movie. And at the end of the day, this movie will make you laugh. It'll make you cry.
Oh yeah.
It'll make you.
Oh yeah.
It'll make you question yourself and the people around you. It definitely will make you angry.
Oh yeah.
We're going to invoke all the emotions out of you. And to me, as a storyteller, that is the most important things that we do.
Well, yeah, not only as a storyteller, but any true actor, they just want to make you feel something.
That's right.
They really do. And so I feel like this movie is definitely going to do that. I think a lot of people are going to watch it, and they're going to feel a lot of different things, a lot of different emotions. So.
All right, folks. We're going to wrap this. Otherwise, we can go into the second hour.
No shit, right? Yeah.
Thank you very much, all of you. And again, this is The Last Patriot. Mm-hmm. You are...
Luna Stark.
I'm Shawn Kane. James Stark is right here. There we go. Oh, there it is. And we are Phoenix Rising Productions. You've been watching our final thoughts on The Last Patriot. Please go check it out. Hopefully this will be in theaters on January 6th.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. We have a lot of people very interested in it. And we'll see you soon. Thank you.
Bye.